Yesterday we talked about a few multiplayer details that got teased officially by Call of Duty, and today we've got another go at a few more. In this video we're breaking it all down, so let me know your thoughts. What are you hoping to see more of here in the next couple of days? We've got confirmed more information on the gunsmith and weapon vault system coming up here before COD Next that I'm excited to learn about, but feel free to let me know what you guys are looking forward to the most. For now, let's talk about this new teaser. So yesterday we covered a teaser from Saturday where it was a 5-day out countdown kind of thing, where we ended up getting intel on a few perks, maps, modes, and a few other smaller details. Now today they released their 3-day countdown teaser, which was essentially the same formula, but obviously with different items. We ended up seeing more perks, we ended up seeing new game modes, another map potentially, and again, some smaller details there. Starting out with the perks though, because this is probably the biggest of what we can see out of this, we saw what appeared to be the perks of Scavenger, Overkill, and Spotter. Now these of course are probably no-brainers. They're ones that are usually in the game here, and with Modern Warfare 2019 being the prequel to Modern Warfare 2, seeing them come back in the same fashion makes sense. Scavenger of course giving the ability to pick up ammo off dead enemies, Overkill giving you the option to take 2 primary weapons as opposed to a primary and a secondary, and Spotter allowing you to see enemy equipment, field upgrades, and kill streaks through walls, and have the ability to mark them for your team while looking at them ADS'd. But just like yesterday's, we saw another sort of tethered system of 2 perks within this teaser. The first one looks to be High Alert with a new icon associated with it, and for that second one, honestly, I have no idea. The only perk that we've seen from the leaked set of perks that maybe fits this is maybe Focus, but it also just looks like a monitor icon, so I don't really know how much we can derive from that, how much we can take away and give a more accurate guess, but certainly interesting. Now again, we talked about yesterday what appeared to be double time and what I imagine is that hustle perk, a combination of sleight of hand and gung-ho. There's linked to another icon above it. That icon in the teaser 2 days ago was the icon for Search and Destroy, a game mode, not necessarily a sort of overarching umbrella perk. This time around, however, this High Alert icon and Mystery perk are again tethered to another icon, but this being the game mode icon for Cranked, assuming the icon is not changed from the leaked game files a few months back, which is interesting because number one, again, I'm still entirely lost as to why these would be tethered to game modes, and 2, it's interesting that Cranked is there. Cranked has kind of always been that LTM, especially in recent years, not really a base game mode that we've seen for quite some time. So is this a sign that we'll see it coming very soon, maybe even in the beta as a base game mode? It'll be interesting. Cranked, of course, is definitely nice. I like the faster paced nature of it, but it is something that is certainly curious. So if you're keeping track of everything where we're at right now, we've seen at least 6 confirmed standalone perks, that being Restock, Ghost, and Hardline, as well as Scavenger, Overkill, and Spotter, with some different perks that we don't quite know how they'll interact with the gameplay loop just yet, of Double Time and what I'm assuming is a perk of Hustle, something that gives a sleight of hand effect plus gung-ho effect, but also High Alert and now an unknown one at this point. So we're starting to fill out that list of perks that we know of, and of course we'll see confirmed for COD Next, but interesting to see where we're at this point. Now as for game modes, we do see a couple of different icons here in a continuation from yesterday. Now the first one is what we actually saw as of yesterday, where it's 2 swords crossed. Some people think it's Capture the Flag, some people think it's something else. Honestly, I don't know if we have enough information on that. It's not an exact match of any of the ones I remember seeing here in regards to the leaked icons, but there was also one in the middle of a Demolition looking icon, but what's interesting is that it's not Demolition, or it's not the leaked icon for Demolition. Demolition's leaked icon was more of a briefcase bomb, and this one is kind of a dynamite charge that was associated with a mode called Ground War Bomb. Now, that's something that's entirely interesting in and of itself, that we might see a larger ground war based mode like this. Maybe it's something like what we see in Warzone now with the Operation Last Call, or perhaps it's a little bit closer to what we see with like Vanguard Arms Race. Right now, we just don't have enough information, but the third one, again, is a bit of a mystery here because it's just simply a skull icon on a circular sort of coin. Now, there's a ton of skulls that are utilized in the design for these game modes. I mean, just of the ones that we saw leaked, Team Deathmatch uses a skull, Ground War uses a skull, Gunfight uses a skull, a new mode called Bounty uses a skull, Kill Confirmed has skulls on the tag icons, Infected uses a skull with a gas mask, and Free For All is that sort of skull with a Grim Reaper theme. So right off the bat, there's 7 different skull icons, but this one surprisingly doesn't match any of them. And it's the first icon we've seen for game modes that has a circular icon that we've seen. Every other one has a more pentagonal or hexagonal shape to them. So definitely interested to see what this turns into. But that said, before we move on, if you guys enjoyed the video so far, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay on top of everything Modern Warfare 2. We're going to be streaming from COD Next here in just a couple of days, also pumping out a ton of content from that event, plus also for the beta. So if you guys are interested in any of that and you'd like to join us on the road to 500,000 subscribers, make sure that subscribe button. But anyways, back to it. We've still got a little bit more to detail. We also learned a little bit about a map, or maybe two maps, depending on this. The image on the left, it doesn't match any of the images that we saw leaked from the Warzone mobile game files a couple of months back, but it does kind of remind me of the sort of blocky buildings we see in the map of Museum and what we've seen teased for that and also leaked. However, it's not an exact match, so it might be from a different portion of that map if it is part of it, or it could be an entirely different new map altogether. Now, in the bottom right, once again, there is another portion that is a leaked tac map of a bigger map here. Now, this one is interesting because I'm kind of leaning towards this being a different map if it is Museum that we just saw, but at the same time, both could be this map that is brand new. Regardless, though, it looks much bigger than a 6v6 map. It looks as if we have our spawn points, some scattered buildings on the northwest portion of the map, but on the east and the southern portion, what looks to be a lot of water. The first, of course, map kind of catered towards water play potentially, but it doesn't seem like it's out of bounds areas like we'd normally see. There's the hard cut as to where the out of bounds would be, but above that is just a sea of gray, which means that we don't see any buildings there or any structures, and so therefore, to me, that indicates water. Now, the name would also fit that, as the recon panel titles this map as Hook, Line, Sinker, which does not look to be the name of the map, and unlike Sierra, India, Romeo, Alpha that we saw yesterday, that doesn't appear to be an acronym for anything that we know of in the game files for leaked maps. So very curious to see how this all plays out. If it's a battle map, if it's a 6v6 map, we'll just have to wait and see. And finally, the last thing we'll talk about is what looks to be icons for maybe factions. Now, these kind of remind me of the sort of art direction that we saw for the branches of the Allegiance and Coalition subdivisions, but also for the Armistice patch that we saw for Warzone as well. Now, we did kind of actually see one of these already, because in some of the beta material, this is actually an icon that we see on a couple of different things here. So is it something that's just a beta reward, or is it something that the beta rewards are playing off of this faction icon that we end up seeing? Right now, of course, time will tell, but that's what we learned here out of this new teaser for today. A couple of new perks, a couple of new maps potentially, and a couple of different icons we can make out for game modes and factions. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. We, of course, have more information coming for Gunsmith as well as the weapon vaults here in the next couple of days, so stick around on the channel if you guys are at all interested in that. And of course, if you missed today's earlier video about the beta rewards that were revealed, make sure you check that out as well. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below if you guys like the sound of any of this kind of stuff. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Just a couple of days away from COD Next, so stay frosty, take care, and peace.